Hello, Leo. Welcome to your May Soul session. I am Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. And what's not all whatever. So we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards. We're going to be looking at an overall energy. There we go. As well as a challenge. And then we're going to be getting into a more specific spread to see what is going on with you all for the month of May and what's not or whatever. So, anywho, first card out, we have the Three of Cuppies in the reverse. And this is challenged. Why is this stalking us? It's challenged by the Knight of Wands. So what it is looking like, Leo, and I'm gonna forewarn you about this. There could be, I don't want to say like full on depression or anything, but it very well could be a little bit of solemnness, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of feeling a tad isolated and alone, or just feeling like what you're going through, no one really understands. You know what I mean? It's kind of feeling like you're on a journey by yourself in the month of May. But what I really want to stick to is what I just said, because I feel like that's a perfect depiction, is like what you're going through, no one really understands. So it could potentially be that, in your friendships, relationships, what have you, that whatever your main challenges are this month, that people in your life right now just really can't relate, because maybe they're not in situations like you. So an example of this would be like, if you're married and you have issues but all your friends are single, that would be an example to where I can talk to them about this, but they don't really know because they're not married. Or if you're a parent and you have kids and none of your friends have kids, and a challenge you're dealing with your child, you can't really talk to your friends. Like, you can talk to them, but they can't speak from a place of empathy. Like, oh my gosh, I totally know what that's like. I've been there, super difficult. You know what I mean? Type of deal. Now, this energy came up for Pisces. So if you have that in your chart, definitely check it out. But you guys challenge being the Knight of Wands. This is something you guys want to be cautious about, because this is very much an impulsive energy. So it's not necessarily thinking things through and being a tad, reactionary. And I can see this, in alignment with, like, if you guys are already feeling, I think there's an eyelash in my eye, but if you guys are already feeling, like a tad misunderstood. I'm sorry for the faces. But if you guys are already feeling a tad misunderstood in reference to your situation, and say you haven't vocalized this to your friend group, or your partner, or what have you, there is the potential for you guys kind of flashing out. And I would say, kind of just be cautious of that, because it just feels to me it's a lot going on. You guys are very much in your head. You're contemplating a lot. You're thinking about a lot. You're feeling a lot of things. But I don't necessarily feel that you guys may be vocalizing everything that's happening inside of you. So there is that potential to be kind of triggered and lash out, whether that's with someone else or that's behaviorally, because that's what I forewarn Pisces about, is to make sure that because you're feeling some type of way, that you don't circumvent that by impulsive behavior, because I don't really feel that that would necessarily work out in your favor. So the key is here is, with everything that you're doing this month, to acknowledge what it is that you're actually feeling. And if you do elect to act on something or to go in a particular direction, to make sure that you're clear and intentional about it. So that way, if there are any consequences for the actions that you take or the things that you say, that you're willing to, take them on the chin, because you did them with intention, and, you responded versus reacted, right? Now, getting into your more specifics, I don't know what's going on with my throat today. Your central energy. Wow, we have the Five of Cuppies in the reverse. Your past influence is the High Priestess. Your hidden influence is, the Queen of Cuppies. I can see where this is going. Your potential outcome is the Ace of Swords in the reverse. And what to look out for moving forward, we have the Empress. That is a very, very good thing. And with the Empress, of course, that is Taurus as well as Libra energy. And I'm gonna say this now. I hopefully don't forget it. And of course, the high priestess is Pisces energy. Um, damn. Maybe y'all might just want to watch Pisces just for shits and giggles, even if it's not in your chart. Um, the thing I can tell you with this Empress, and this is me kind of jumping ahead, but I feel like I should say it now in the event that I forget. I feel like the time frame for you all between Taurus season, which is now, until Libra season, which is starting like 20th ish of October, and going into no, I'm lying. Latter part of September. My bad. I'm talking about Scorpio season, child. The latter part of September and the early part of October. I do feel like that's an important time frame for you guys. And how I would see this, and I don't know if I said something similar to this to you guys, or if I said that to Scorpio. It might have been Scorpio. If you have that in your chart, check it out. That's from in April. But anywho, I feel that this is going to be an important time frame to where whatever insights you receive in May, or the changes that are implemented, or the ahas that are received in May, or decisions that you're making, paths that you're taking in the month of May, I do feel those are going to fully germinate for you in Libra season. So in September, October. So not necessarily saying that things are gonna, be sucky or something like that between, April, May until September, October. But I feel that's a time frame in which you guys are going to be going through a massive transformation. So it's interesting because I'm literally telling you the end of this reading at the beginning. But I feel what the ultimate goal is for Leo ultimately is to align with this Empress status. Okay. And now they're telling me to go to the High Priestess. Okay. Ultimately, the intention, the call on your life, if you will, Leo, is for you guys to align with Empress status. But in order for you guys to get there, there's a need to master the energy in the High Priestess. But how this High Priestess, and that's your past influence energy, so coming out of April and into May, how this energy is manifesting itself to me is slightly different. Yes, there are elements in it of, going to the proverbial, ethereal spiritual river to, consort with spirit and things of the sort. But I'm seeing this more in the sense of Leo needing to master like the hermetic principle of like the law of polarity, or the law of opposites. You know what I'm saying? And if I were to say it in a therapeutic sense, it would be understanding dialectics, like with DBT for my DBT people out there. But it's understanding dialectics, understanding that paradoxical state. I really, in my personal opinion, believe that when it comes to, awakening and a personal growth journey, personal development, and all of that, that's literally, if we looked at it as, Nikola Tesla's 369 principle, like the key to the universe. The key to the universe is understanding dialectics. It's understanding like paradoxical living, of the fact that there is no all or nothing, black or white, this or that, up or down, male or female, like this very static didactic perspective that we have on life. Like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is bad. It's like having that perspective is grotesquely limiting, and it's death. Like, I mean, both sides of that Likert scale are two sides of one coin, and that coin is death, proverbially speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like a death of the self. It prevents one from ever evolving or ascending, if you will, from sense consciousness to Christ or higher consciousness, for however you want to say it. And that's very much the symbolism of a card that represents you all, Leo, that of which would be the strength card, right? So it's like taming the beast in a sense. The beast would be your sensory consciousness, aka the brain in your head, and all of the limits that our conditioning and life perceptions and, didactic biases keep on our brain. But even more so with this, Leo, I feel that there's a secret that is being kept, and it's not a secret from someone else. I feel it's a secret shame that Leo possesses. So there's something about yourself where there's a belief that you're, what the hell with my throat? There's a belief that you are inherently flawed in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? Meaning that there's something about yourself or something you do or the way that you are, the way that you think, like it's something where your self-perception, and I'm not saying this for every Leo everywhere, but just for a Leo that would resonate with this, there's something going on inside of you that you feel a sense of shame about. You know what I mean? Some of you, it could be your belief system. For some of you, it could be your sexuality. For some of you, it could be, your desires or your dreams, what it is that you really want to do with your life. You know what I mean? For others of you, it could just be like a self-esteem, self-worth type of thing. Your personality, it could be a myriad of different things for different people. But I feel the thing that's kind of a blockade for you and what's holding you back is this secret shame about this thing, when in reality, the truth is that this isn't really something that you should even be ashamed of. I just feel this is a self-perception and a self-concept. And this is something that all of humanity, is guilty of. Like, this is something we all fall victim to, of having this perception of ourselves that we're weird or we're strange or we're not smart or, we talk too much or, I'm not intelligent. It's our own self-judgments. But it's almost, to me, saying, hopping back to this Empress, that the Empress is the call on your life. It's who you were always supposed to be. It's who you were born to be. It is who it is that you are now and have always been, right? But the reason why you've never been able to step out as that, like the fullness of yourself, or even if you look at it in the context of success, like what it is that you've achieved in your life up to this point, if you feel like you look at other people in your field or you look at, your friends or what have you, it's like you can kind of look at the fact that I should be like a lot more successful. Like, I know that I'm good at what I do, or I'm educated, or I have a degree. I have a lot of experience in this particular thing, right? But still feeling like in comparison to others, you're falling short in some way. But believing within yourself that you should be on a higher level. And that's the truth. You absolutely should be. You should be a lot more well-known than you are. You know what I'm saying? For some of you guys, you should quite literally be a household name. You should be dominating the field that you're in. But the only reason why you're not is because of what this high priestess is proverbially hiding, if you will, right? It's almost kind of like, if I were to put a term on it, it would be like imposter syndrome, right? Like, you have a myriad of opportunities that have been offered to you where you could step out and show people how dope you are, how talented you are, how gifted you are. But you have a tendency to take a step back or to play it, kind of coy, play it kind of low key. You don't put yourself fully out there because there's something in your head telling you that if you were to just jump out, and my guides are telling me something, this is interesting, you have this fear, like if you kind of like jump out head first, that, like imposter syndrome does, like you're going to end up being seen as a fraud. Like, people are going to be like, you're a phony, you're a fraud, you really don't know everything, you've only been doing this for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, they're all going to point and laugh at you, tomato, tomato, tomato. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that vibe. And the thing that my guides were telling me just now, which is something very specific, is there's one of you, or maybe a bunch of you, a whole group of you out there. If they're, this is an energy signature, but if it's not one person, if it's a whole group of you, the most bravest one, go ahead and put it in the comments so you guys can meet each other and fraternize and be like a whole collective, help each other out. You know what I'm saying? But this is a person where, I'll say person, but it's probably people. But anyway, but it's a person where you over prepare for stuff. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like you're not going to just go get a degree in something. You're going to get the degree and get several specializations. So that's like, to use an example of what that would look like, it's like me, like I'm a therapist, right? And a therapist can just be a therapist because you're licensed to be a therapist. But as a licensed therapist, you can go get specializations in different areas. So if you choose to not be like a catch-all therapist, because all of us are trained to handle a myriad of different things: grief, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, all the things, right? But you can choose to specialize in one particular area of therapy, right? So for me, it's DBT, it's trauma, right? It's narcissism, right? So it's kind of like what the energy signature they're showing me of what this Leo or group of Leos would be doing is, because of the secret shame or perception of inherently flawed, you would go become a therapist, hypothetically speaking, and before you ever practice, like, you wouldn't feel comfortable enough passing the board exam, getting your master's degree, going through clinicals. That wouldn't be enough. Going through freaking supervision, all of that wouldn't be enough. You would feel like you would need to go get a specialization and master that specialization before you could ever practice, right? So it's overcompensating or over preparing or overtraining yourself. Or even if it's something that you're creating, it's like, instead of you sing, instead of picking up your phone and singing a song on TikTok, you're going to make sure that you get a whole entire album that you create with the absolute best production and get a whole bunch of people to listen to it and for you to get feedback before you ever let anyone know that you sing. And the whole thing with this, that would be an example of how it is that you're holding yourself back, because and they're telling me something else too. One of y'all supposed to start a damn YouTube channel, okay? Reggie for filth. One of you is supposed to start a YouTube channel and you've never launched the channel because you're sitting there making sure that your set is perfect, your background is perfect. What am I gonna wear? You're recording videos and scratching them and recording them again and then scratching them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're feeling as if, in order to start a YouTube channel, that it needs to be this perfect, you know what I'm saying, like, product. And I mean, I can tell you legit, dude, I started YouTube in 2017 and I know about cameras and film and lighting and all the things, right? Editing and all the stuff. When I first started YouTube, I literally started it in a corner in my bedroom. You know what I mean? Because initially I was just showing my hands. So I literally had my laptop pointed down and that's how I was doing all of my videos. And eventually, like, I showed my face. And if you go look back in my catalog, you can literally see like a little bit of my bed in the background and all my pictures on the wall. Like, that was, and it's me doing them, when I'm about to go to work, when I got off from work, you know what I'm saying? So there wasn't any thought put into like a set. All of that stuff came later, you know what I mean? So, and then when it comes to YouTube, like, people really don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? People more or less like the people that they like on YouTube because, they like the person's personality. They find the person entertaining. So it's literally you just being yourself. Like, no one subscribed to my channel because they were like, oh my gosh, I really like that bed piece painting that, Princess India has in the background. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. So literally it's putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. So you could have been the empress, because I don't know how long, they ain't saying that, how long it's been since you've been trying or saying you was going to start this channel, child. You know what I'm saying? But you could have been the empress, but no one even sees you or even knows that you exist because you're sitting in this high priestess energy because you're feeling as if stuff needs to be perfect. And this is one of those things specifically with YouTube. It's like a trial and error kind of thing. I think anyone who's watching, not even just the Leo that I'm talking to, like, if any of you guys have a YouTube creator that you've been watching for some time, or even someone that you've, happened upon recently, If you scroll back in anyone's catalog, there could be someone who has like crisp, clean sound right now. If you go back to their first couple of videos, I promise you, you were hearing the echo in their house and the crackling of their microphone. You know what I'm saying? Like all of us at one point or another had really shitty lighting. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the tarot community, child. When like all the OGs and stuff, when all of this kicked off, it's like no one had high production quality. Like that's all something that came after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because I say, even with myself, I started playing with the idea of like, what if I like bought in like my Nikon and like, you know, my lights and stuff like that, and, you know, doing all the crazy editing and all the things. And that was more or less something I was doing more for me and not necessarily like, oh, my subscribers are going to love this lower third scrolling across the screen. It was more or less me doing it for me because I found it fun. You know what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say, don't hold yourself back from being great because you're thinking you have to be a finished product at the beginning. You literally don't. Like that's the fun of the journey of that trial and error, and being able to go back and, you know, look at your first couple of videos and laugh at yourself and be like, oh my gosh, that microphone was trash. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind for whoever you are out there, and whoever you are, go ahead and just out yourself in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Because I read these comments. But anywho, but that's something that's important. I feel like even though that you guys passed influence coming into the month of May, I feel like this high priestess and this empress are very literally the highlight, you know, of this is so funny. It's the highlight of this reading. I'm laughing at what it is that I just saw. Like it's a whole symbolic type of thing. It's like the thing that I saw is like the astrology wheel. I don't know why I be explaining the things I see in my head, but let's just go with it. Because symbolically, what that means is like beautiful to me. It's they're showing me like the astrology wheel and like highlighting the 12th house, right? Which is Pisces. And then it's like it's jumping to bam, the second house, which would be Taurus. You feel what I'm saying? So it's symbolic of the sense of this is like a transition that you guys have gone through in this particular time frame. This is so interesting to me that this reading is giving so many time frames for you guys. So for you all, where this kind of fire was ignited, this is literally going back to Pisces season, which is the latter part of February and the early part of March. And this also includes Aries season. So it's like there's some big transition that's happening for Leos in between that time. So if you kind of think back to the midpoint of February and what was kind of going on with you guys, or where your headspace was at, it's like whatever happened during that time, that's like your kind of sign of like this fire being ignited for you. So it's how I'm seeing this, Leo. This is interesting. It's very much like, if I could say it, it's like being guided by God almost. It's like this is your time frame. This is like your season. This is whatever it is you guys are doing or working on. This is like you guys coming into alignment with your path, with destiny. But you're still very much in this overall collective energy, seeing how it is that we are our own worst enemy in a sense, you know? So it's like February, March, April, May, all of these months are super important for you, right? Because this is kind of like when the wheel starts to turn, proverbially speaking. And then when we're coming into Gemini season, it's like the matriculation, or the manifestation would be a better word, from Gemini season to Libra season is like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like preparing for the Grammys or something like that, you know? It's like project management, getting everything in order for you guys to have your coming out party. But I feel what the month of May is important about is like, this is supposed to be you waking up and realizing who it is that you are. You feel what I'm saying? And I know I've done this reading completely out of order than I usually do it, but I feel like that's necessary, because coming back to the cards that are straight down the middle here, with this 5 of Cups and the reverse being you guys' central energy, This is literally saying to me, like, you're not stagnated and stuck in this energy. You can choose to be, right? But it's like your season of sadness and depression or self deprecation, doubting yourself and dwelling on the past and what could have been, what should have been, all of that. Like, the time for that is over. And now it's time for you guys to see the two cups that have been standing behind you. It's time for you to reawaken to the present, because I feel you guys have been very much living in the past, because this Five of Cups energy is very reminiscent of what I was picking up on in this Three of Cups in the reverse. And that's why, like, I'm joking of saying, you guys saying stuff in the comments, I really feel like you need to, like, I always plug my network She Do Society, because it's instances like this where having a tribe and collective of people ends up becoming so important, because it's something just so reassuring and refreshing to find a group of, even if it's like two, three other people that are going through what it is that you're going through. So like I was saying with this Three of Cups in the reverse, and this is not a push or a plug to say to join my network, but if you want to, you're welcome. But I mean, this could be in your church home, or, you know what I'm saying, in your racquetball club, or whatever it is that you're into. You know what I'm saying? It's like-minded people. It's like, that is what I feel for Leo. It's going to be the inspiration for you, is to be like, oh, damn, wow. So I'm not by myself in this. And then having these people to rally behind you and to encourage you and tell you to, like, do it, take a chance, jump out there. You know what I mean? The person who wants to start a YouTube channel, you need to have some people around you that, started YouTube channels or are wanting to start YouTube channels, that can encourage you and tell you to jump out and do it. You tell them your idea is dope too, you jump out and do it. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like you guys are really needing that. But with this Five of Cups in the reverse, this is an energy that the door is open for you guys to walk out of, but it's more or less a free will choice, right? And why I say that is because with your hidden influence being the Queen of Cups, that's saying there's a dive that needs to be done. This is where that self-honesty is going to come in, because these two cards are related to each other. This High Priestess and this Queen of Cups. It's like, that's where this proverbial secret, or literal, depending on what your story is for you specifically, like, that's the secret that's being kept. It's something deep down inside of yourself. It's something that you're trying to hide, is something you're trying to keep covered. You could be perceiving it as if like you're trying to put whipped cream on shit. You know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter is the shit isn't there, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with you, Leo. You're freaking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you perceive as whatever this flaw type of thing is, there's nothing wrong with it, literally, but there's people who would literally celebrate it. But again, it's like, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Your mind is the one that created the idea that whatever this, thing is a bad thing in the first place. And you can't ever get an alternative opinion on it because you're hiding it and you don't want to let it all hang out. You know what I mean? So it's like, how could you ever get over this if you're hiding that facet of yourself? You know what I mean? And with your potential outcome being the Ace of Swords in the reverse, which is why I'm actually kind of glad that this reading went the way that it did, because it rationalizes all of this. I think if I would have said this in order, it would have been so confusing. But literally, with this Ace of Swords in the reverse, it's still coming back to this free will choice. It's not saying that your potential outcome is that you're going to be confused. No, you could be. It's all depending on what you choose. With this Five of Cups, you can choose to be like, go even deeper into a sadness and depression and dwelling on the past and what could have been and why you're not enough, and I got to do more, and I have so much to do. I got to perfect this. I have to like record 100 videos before I launch this channel, and I got to get the, color gradients right on it and all the things. I got to get Premiere Pro from Adobe in order to edit these videos. You know what I'm saying? Putting all this unnecessary pressure on yourself, right? And still continuing to push down and to hide whatever this particular thing is that's going on inside of you, even if it's an emotion that you don't want to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Or you can choose to do the deep dive, or even some of you, even though this is in a hidden influence, this doesn't, like, this meaning I'm about to say doesn't count because it's about you. It's not about someone else. But most of you know the Queen of Cups is my therapist card. You know what I'm saying? So if whatever it is that you guys are covering up, because I mean, if it's something like something you've been through that you've never told anyone or you've never shared with anyone, this would be a nice time to make the decision to get you a friendly local neighborhood therapist and to process this deep thing. Because sometimes there are things that we've been through that, you know, just journaling isn't going to fix that. You know what I'm saying? We can't recover from childhood trauma that has altered our perception on life with just a couple of journal prompts. You know what I mean? So if that's relevant to you, I would say this would be an opportune time to do that. If this is something, like if you guys are very clear on what this something is, and it's something that's attached to shame and it's something that you hide, you know what I mean? I'm hearing what it is, but ugh, it's something that has to, and I can't say the words because YouTube. Oh, there we go. I heard the letters. It's like something that's SA related and it's in the neighborhood of SA. You know what I mean? For some of you guys, this would be something like when you were younger. For others of you, this could be something high school, college esque. You know what I mean? But it's something in the neighborhood of SA, and it's something you've never told anyone. It's just something you've been keeping. Now with something that is that serious, that's not something that, you know, a tarot reading will deliver you from. You know, even if you got a personal reading from me, that wouldn't deliver you from that. Just having a supportive community isn't going to help you recover from that. That's something that really needs to be processed with, you know, a licensed clinician slash a friendly local neighborhood therapist. You know what I mean? So this would be saying that now is the time to really face that, because this would end up becoming like that black shroud that's covering you, that is preventing you from being this empress, and is letting you know that this month all of the energy is pointing to that, especially if this is something you've been considering. Now, on the other side, like I said, if it's something that's less serious, I mean, maybe you might just need a life coach or a financial planner. You know what I'm saying? But now is the time to face this particular thing. You know what I mean? Or do some little self reflection to find out what this thing is for you, right? And to make the decision to either remain in agreement with it or to choose to come out of agreement with it. And that's why I see like how I was led to go to the two outside cards first of what it is that you're coming into May with, and in essence what you're leaving out of May with, potentially like what to look out for. It's the contrast between these two archetypes. It's like it's making the decision to not hide your face anymore. It's making the decision to, you know, have your coming out party. You know what I'm saying? And to finally step up and to claim your throne and be who it is that you were always destined to be. But all of the cards straight down the middle are pretty much saying it's all up to you. Yes, the things that are happening deep down inside, those need to be faced. But once they are, you still have the choice of if you're going to continue to stay in that energy or if you're going to elect to come out of agreement with it. So I hope and pray that that made sense, my beautiful Leo. Most certainly let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys